everyone, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to Robert's Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. NFL Week 17. Playoff time is almost here. The last week of the regular season. We know some things for the playoffs. We don't know some things for the playoffs. Last week was fantasy football Super Bowl for, I believe, everyone. Should have been typically leagues. Unfortunately, I lost by 6 points. Finished second in my league. Hey, you know what? I made the Super Bowl. It's a win. Alright, so in picks last week, against this win-loss, I was 10-6. Against the spread, 9-7, and over-under 5-11. Which brings me year-to-date, season-to-date, 145-93-2. Win-loss, and then against the spread, 107-133. Over-under 126-114. Alright. We have all divisional matchups this week. We have a lot of playoff implications on the line. I am not going to get into every playoff scenario. Just hit on a few. First game, there ain't shit on the line. AFC East matchup. The 7-8 Miami Dolphins versus the 5-10 Buffalo Bills. Buffalo is favored by 3.5 at home. You know what? I'll take Miami. I pick Miami. I give Miami a 3.5. I've been winning, covering, and over on the 38.5. The reason being with that, Miami beat Buffalo early in the year, 21-17. Next, we have another matchup that doesn't mean jack shit. The NFC North, which is sad to say that this team is meaningless right now. We have the 5-10 Detroit Lions versus the 6-8-1 Green Bay Packers. It's just sad to say that we are week 17. Not only are the Packers not going to the playoffs, they're not playing a meaningful game. They're not able to be above 500. With the greatest quarterback of all time. Figure that one out. Alright, Packers are favored by 7.5. Detroit did win earlier in the season, 31-23. I am picking the Green Bay to win this game. I think with the head coach change, I think they want to end the season on a good note. So I got the Packers winning, covering the 7.5 and over on the 45. Next, we have the 5-10 Jacksonville Jaguars versus the 10-5 leaders of the AFC South, Houston Texans. They have not clinched the division, but they've clinched a playoff spot. Now, they are favored by 7. They did beat the Jaguars 20-7 earlier in the year. Now, if Houston wins or ties, they can clinch the AFC South title. With a win by Houston and a loss by Kansas City, LA, and New England, Houston can get a first-round bye. They're already in the playoffs. They just don't know if they're a wild-card team, division winner, or a first-round bye. So they have a lot to play for. So Houston should be playing their starters. DeAndre Hopkins should play a whole game, so should Deshaun Watson. And that defense, they definitely want to be out there. They need a win. The division title, possible first-round bye. I had them winning, covering the 7 and under on the 40.5. Next, we had the Dallas Cowboys, 9-6, NFC East champions. In an EFC matchup versus the New York Football Giants, who are 5-10. The Cowboys have nothing to play for. They are the 4 seed. They can't get above that. They can't fall below that. They've already clinched the division. I don't look at a lot of the Cowboys' main guys playing. It'd be stupid if Zeke Elliott plays all 4 quarters. Giants are actually favored by 6.5, and I am taking the Giants. I have them covering the 6.5. I'm taking under on the 42.5. Early in the season, Dallas won 20-13, but that was with everybody playing. People ain't playing in the Dallas game. Next, we have the Carolina Panthers, who are 6-9, versus the NFC South Division champions, along with the number 1 seed in the NFC, the New Orleans Saints, who are 13-2. Everything in the NFC will go through the Superdome. They locked up. They can't fall out of the number 1 seed. They got to the division. They have nothing to play for. They're favored by 4. Breeze ain't playing the whole game. If he does, freaking Sean, what's his name, stupid as hell. So I'm taking Carolina. I'm giving them the 4. I've been winning, covering, and under on the 47.5. Next, we have the 4-11 New York Jets versus the 10-5 AFC East champions for like 10 straight years, the New England Patriots. New England has something to play for here. Yes, they won the division for the 10th straight year. They were favored by 13.5. Home field's on the line. Home field, if New England wins, Kansas City and Los Angeles lose, New England's got a home field advantage throughout the playoffs. New England, to get a first round bye, got to win. They need a win or tie, a Houston loss or tie, a Baltimore loss or tie, plus a Tennessee loss and tie, a loss or tie, to get first round bye. So they're playing for the first round bye. They're playing for home field advantage because they know everything needs to go through Foxborough because they are better in Foxborough. So I have the Patriots winning, covering, and under on the 45.5. Next, we have the Atlanta Falcons, 6-9 versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 5-10. Two NFC South teams that are going nowhere. Tampa Bay is actually favored by 1.5 at home. Atlanta beat them earlier in the season, 34-29. I'm giving the 1.5 to Atlanta. I got them winning, covering. I'm taking over in the 51.5. Next, out of the AFC West, we have the 11-4 Los Angeles Chargers versus the 6-9 Denver Broncos. Chargers have clinched at least a wildcard spot. They are in running for not only a division title, but a first-round bye. So they can go from possible division champion first-round bye to a wildcard team, which they are the second best team in the AFC. This is why we need to do something with the seeding, something with the divisions. So we have 6 teams make the playoffs. We have the 3 division champions. And then we have the 3 wildcard teams. 4 division champions, excuse me. 4 division champions and 2 wildcard teams. My brain just stopped. So here we have 11-4 team. If they win and Kansas City loses, they can have first round bye. If Kansas City wins, they're a wildcard team because they didn't win the division, and they have equal record to the Chiefs. So the Chiefs win, they win. They're both 12-4. You have a 12-4 team going on the road to play a possible Houston. If they lose, they're 10-6. You have a team that's 2 games better on the road. Something's got to be done with the playoffs. But okay. 12-4, not even win their division. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Denver won versus the Chargers 23-22 earlier in the season. Chargers are favored by 6.5. They have a lot to play for. Philip Rivers playing. They're going for it. They're either winning, covering, and over on the 41.5. Next, the NFC West, we have the San Francisco 49ers, 4-11, versus the 12-3 NFC West champions, Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are favored by 9.5, with an over/under of 50. They can clinch their first round bye with a win or a Chicago loss. New Orleans has the overall number 1 seed wrapped up. The Rams are playing for the number 2 seed in the first round bye. To me, that's important. So you would play your guys. I have the Rams winning, covering, and under on the 50. The next, we have the NFC West with the Arizona Cardinals 3-12 versus the Seattle Seahawks who are 9-6. Seattle's already wrapped up a wild card position. They are 5th. They can't go above that. They can't fall out. They are in. This is a meaningless game. Why play your players? Save everybody for wildcard weekend. Seattle's actually favored by 13.5, which is bizarre because I think they're going to rest people. So I'm giving the 13.5 to Arizona. Don't worry, I got Seattle covering it. And then I got taking the under on the 38.5. So I'm getting Arizona getting the 4th win here. Seattle's going to rest players. Next, out of the NFC East, kind of an important game. We got a must-win here for the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, who are 8-7. They're playing the 7-8 Washington Redskins. Washington Redskins this year, they've been out there breaking a leg. Philadelphia is favored by 6.5. Philly wins. Minnesota loses. Philly's in. So Philly's in a must-win. They have to win and hope for the best in the Minnesota game. So I got Philly winning, covering the 6.5 and under on the 42. Next, we have an NFC North matchup. This is what is exciting about the Week 17 for me. We have the Cleveland Browns. 7-1. If Cleveland wins or ties, they're 500. When is the last time Cleveland was 500 or better? Yeah, it's been a while. They're playing the Baltimore Ravens, who are 9-6, who are currently leading the AFC North. Baltimore is favored by 6.5. Baltimore can win the North and a first-round bye if Indy, Tennessee, Pittsburgh all lose. If Baltimore loses, no playoffs. This is the ultimate must-win for Baltimore. Now, looking on the other side. We all know who the Baltimore Ravens used to be. They used to be the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns moved, Armandale moved to Baltimore. What would it be for young Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, and that whole Cleveland Browns organization to beat Baltimore and knock them out of the playoffs? I think both these teams are going to be up for this game. This is a playoff game for both teams. For Baltimore to get in, for Cleveland to, how's that going to pound your chest on your offseason? Hey, we knocked the Baltimore Ravens out of the playoffs. They left Cleveland. We knocked them out of the playoffs. We are above 500 for the first time in a long time. We went 0-16 to an 8-win team. Wow. Baltimore's favored by 6.5. I'm giving the 6.5 to Cleveland. I got Baltimore covering. Cleveland winning. Under on the 41. Now, earlier in the season, Cleveland did beat Baltimore 12-9 in overtime. So that's not an out there pick. Alright, next out of the AFC West, we have the 4-11 Oakland Raiders versus 11-4 Kansas City Chiefs. Young Patrick Mahomes, one of the greatest quarterbacks this year in NFL, who could get 5,000 yards in his first full season. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Chiefs are playing for AFC West title and a first-round bye. And home field advantage throughout the playoffs. All that's on the line here. As much as the Raiders and Chiefs hate each other, I don't know if they're stopping young Pat Mahomes. Kansas City is favored by 13.5. Now, I know, early in the year, Oakland won 40-33. But Patrick Mahomes is a few game equalizer, playoff. This is basically a playoff game. This is decided for the AFC West title, everything. I got Kansas City winning. I got Oakland covering at 13.5. I'm taking over on the 52.5. This will be a shootout. These teams will put up 40. I got Kansas City winning. Next, out of the NFC North, we have the Chicago Bears, 11-4 versus the Minnesota Vikings, 8-6-1. Earlier in the season, Chicago won 25-20. Minnesota's favored by 4.5. So, Minnesota needs a win or a tie, and if Philadelphia lost or tie to make the playoffs. Must win for Minnesota to get into the playoffs. The Bears. The Bears need a Los Angeles loss and a win to get a first-round bye. So both teams have a lot to play for. Minnesota's favored by 4.5. I think the Bears are going to play for that first-round bye. We're going to see how good young Mitchell Trubisky is. I'm giving the 4.5 to Chicago. Sorry, Gio. Giving the 4.5 to Chicago. I got them winning, covering, and over on the 40.5. Let's go, Bears. Next, we have out of the AFC North, we have the Cincinnati Bengals 6-9 versus the 8-6-1 Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Steelers are still in hunt for the AFC North. They are still in hunt for a playoff spot. Cincinnati won early in the year 28-21. AFC North, Pittsburgh wins, Baltimore loses. Pittsburgh ties, Baltimore loses. So the Steelers are a Browns fan. Now, Playoffs. Pittsburgh win. Indy, Tennessee tie. That might be a problem. We don't see there too many ties in football. Oh wait, we've seen 2 this year. So Pittsburgh needs a win. I do have them winning. They're favored by 14.5. I do have Cincinnati covering that. Because again, division rival, Cincinnati can be like, hey, we knocked you out of the playoffs last year. They'll win. So I got Steelers winning. I got the Cincinnati covering the 14.5. Over on the 45.5. And speaking of that Indianapolis, Tennessee game, 9-6 AFC South competitors. Indy won earlier in the season 38-10. Indy's favored by 3.5. Welcome back, Andrew Luck. So, some scenarios on this game. Indy, AFC South title. Indy win, Houston loss. Bam. Indy wild card, Indy win, Indy tie, Pittsburgh loss or tie. Tennessee for the AFC South, they need to win. A Houston loss. Tennessee for the wild card, they need to win. So, division's on the line, playoffs are on the line. Both teams will bring it. I am taking Indianapolis, winning, covering the 3.5, and over on the 43.5. And that is your last game of Week 17 of the regular season NFL. Next week, wild card weekend. Wild card. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a great 2018 here on Rubber Sports Show. The next set of videos after this will be to 2019. Now, I will let you know New Year's Day, there is a montage of videos going up on Rubber Sports Show. We will have Wrestle Kingdom 13 preview for all you New Japan Pro Wrestling fans. We will have Impact Wrestling Homecoming. We will have NFL Wildcard Weekend. We'll have NCAA Championship preview, among some other videos I'm working on. So there's going to be a lot going up on New Year's Day here on Rubber Sports Show. Thank you for all the views in 2018. Hope you had a great holiday season. Have a safe and happy New Year. And Rubber Sports Show, we'll see you next year in 2019. As always, thanks for watching Rubber Sports Show. And don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Rubber Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content.